6 random characters at the end of your address, your postcode. Decide if you pay £600 more for car insurance, how fast an ambulance gets to you, even how long you will live. This code was drawn on maps by clerks in 1959. Today, it gates your opportunities and traps your money. How did an innocent sorting tag become Britain's invisible power line? Who really profits? In the late 1950s, Britain's mail system faced a mounting crisis. Letters and parcels were pouring in at record rates, far outpacing the capacity of human hands. The answer, according to Royal Mail engineers, was mechanization, a future where machines could read and sort addresses faster than any clerk. But the machines needed something simple they could scan, so the Royal Mail had to invent a code. Norwich became the testbed for this experiment in 1959. Over 150,000 addresses received a new identity, a short string of letters and numbers stamped onto envelopes for the first time as NOR01A or NOR07B. The city's sorting office was outfitted with 8 automatic machines, each designed to read these codes and direct mail down the right chute. The goal was pure efficiency, nothing more. There were no consultants mapping poverty or predicting social change. The planners were engineers and clerks, not social architects. From Norwich, the system spread. By the mid-1960s, other cities like Aberdeen, Brighton, and Croydon began receiving their own codes. The pattern was pragmatic, following the logic of the mailroom. Districts radiated outward from city centers, numbered like slices of an onion. In London, the old compass-based districts, like North and Southwest, remained a nod to local familiarity and the tangle of Victorian streets. Elsewhere, boundaries often followed railway lines, rivers, or simply the workload of a particular sorting office. There was no grand plan for fairness or equality. Sometimes a clerk would draw a line along a convenient landmark, and other times the split was arbitrary, dictated by the need to balance the number of addresses per machine. In some places, postcode boundaries happened to echo Victorian-era divisions of wealth and poverty. In others, they cut straight across communities, indifferent to who lived on either side. By 1974, the rollout was complete. Every address in Britain carried a 6-character code, designed for machines, not for people. Posters went up on post boxes to help residents memorize their new labels. What started as a neutral sorting tool born from the minds of engineers and the needs of machinery would soon take on a life of its own. It went far beyond the intentions of those who first drew the lines. The moment insurers discovered the postcode, a new market opened overnight. What began as a tool for sorting mail became the foundation for a pricing system that could charge 2 neighbors wildly different sums to insure the same car. The logic was simple, if cold. Each postcode was sorted into a risk band, from A band, rural, low crime and low claims, to F band, the highest risk, where accident and theft statistics ran hot. Actuaries, armed with reams of claims data and local crime figures, built algorithms that assigned every street a risk rating. Suddenly, 6 characters on your address could mean the difference between a manageable bill and a punishing one. The numbers are hard to ignore. In 2025, the average annual motor insurance premium in Tower Hamlets, an F-band postcode, stood at £1,460. Just a few hundred miles north in the Western Isles, an A-band postcode brought the same cover for £390. Even within the same town, a move from GU12-4 to SE13-7 could push a premium up by £600 without changing the car, the driver, or the driving record. The postcode alone does the work. Insurers defend this approach as statistical necessity. They say postcode accounts for about 10 to 20% of a typical premium calculation. factoring in local accident rates, thefts, and even the number of uninsured drivers. But for consumers, the effect is blunt and personal. A clean record is no protection if you live on the wrong side of a boundary drawn decades ago for the convenience of a sorting machine. To see this in action, enter your details into a comparison site. Change nothing but the postcode. The price can swing by hundreds of pounds. For some, the temptation to use a parent's address or a friend's postcode is strong, but that is insurance fraud, illegal, and grounds for claims to be denied or policies canceled. The postcode is a gatekeeper, and there is no way around it. One actuary puts it plainly: we do not insure people, we insure risk. And risk in Britain is mapped by postcode. The system is efficient, but it leaves no room for the individual story behind each address. The postcode's first real power was not in mail delivery, but in deciding who pays more for the same protection. A postcode is more than a number on your address. It is a digital filter that decides what you can buy, where you can work, and how much you will pay to borrow money. Tech companies and delivery giants carve up the country with invisible boundaries called geofences. These are profitability zones. If your postcode falls outside, next day delivery might not exist, or you might find entire services simply unavailable. In central London, a resident of SW 182 can order groceries to their door in under an hour, while just a few blocks away in SW 1E6, the same services are refused. The algorithm draws the line, not the map. Lenders and credit agencies use postcode as a shortcut for risk. In Manchester, a home in M40 show is flagged as higher risk than one in M44, even if the applicants are identical. That difference translates into higher interest rates. The annual percentage rate can jump by 10 to 15% between these codes, costing hundreds over the life of a loan. Credit scoring models, built on area-level data, treat your postcode as a stand-in for your financial reliability. The same 6 characters can shape your job prospects. Employers often screen CVs by address, filtering out candidates from so-called undesirable postcodes before even reading their experience. In Birmingham, studies found that applicants from B12-0 received up to 25% fewer callbacks than those from BAT2, despite identical qualifications. The postcode acts as a silent gatekeeper, closing doors before a person ever gets a chance to prove themselves. Everyday life is shaped by these small, constant exclusions. The postcode, first invented for mail, now decides who gets a loan, a delivery, or an interview. The boundaries drawn for machines have become the boundaries for opportunity. A postcode can mean the difference between living to 85 or dying at 78, even if you never move more than a few miles. In Kensington's W85, the average life expectancy hovers near the top of the national charts. Cross London to E147 in Poplar, and the gap stretches to nearly 7 years. Enough to span a generation. These numbers are not abstract. They reflect who gets access to early cancer screening, which streets see more investment in parks, and how quickly an ambulance arrives. In Leeds, a call from LS13 is answered in about 6 minutes. In LS90, the wait can be 10 minutes or more, long enough to decide the outcome of a cardiac arrest. A National Health Service analyst describes the postcode effect as a feedback loop. Areas with poorer health data attract less funding and fewer services. The statistics worsen and the cycle repeats. It is not just about health. Property values follow the same invisible lines. In Glasgow, a semi-detached home in G116 can sell for £50,000 less than a nearly identical house in G128, separated only by a boundary set in the 1960s. That difference is not explained by the bricks or the garden, but by the code at the end of the address. The stigma of a bad postcode lowers demand, which drags down values and reduces council tax income. Fewer resources flow in, and the area falls further behind. The postcode, once a tool for mail, becomes a lock on opportunity, and sometimes on life itself. Every day, 6 characters decide access, opportunity, and even how long we live without ever asking who we are. As data-driven decisions accelerate, postcode boundaries keep shaping destinies. The real line is no longer on the map, but in the choices we let algorithms make for us. Share your thoughts below.